Hi everyone, welcome to another round of Chitter Chatter. Today I'm gonna chit chat with you know who, and this chat is gonna move your soul at a little level. Because if it has to move at a higher level, you need to DM her and chat with her or read her book, No Below It, is a book which will definitely move you and will have a lot of your questions which you will be answering and a lot of questions that you will be asking, maybe something you're seeking. And Sol Mocha is yours. So let me send her a request and let's get started with chit chat. By the way, is over a cup of. Oh,
Hi, Shweta. Finally, finally,
there's a cup of coffee. Mine is right here.
here.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I was telling this chat is going to move their soul at some level. And if they need to move their
I
soul
know.
at a higher level, they need to chit chat with you on a personal level.
Okay.
But
Can
before
you
we
hear me, right? You can hear me, right?
I And before we get
Okay.
started, I want to tell all the viewers here that she is a light worker, an archetypal consultant, NLP practitioner, author for 32 years. And if I go on introducing, we'll need another chit chat.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. We shouldn't.
But Meenu, I
Some
the
prop.
Wi-Fi couldn't
Yeah.
handle this heavy. You see me now?
Okay.
So I when I read this book, I always believe every book is meant for a reader to answer their some questions, to, move them in some way, have some teachings. And this is a book that moved me at a lot of levels. And in fact, I'm going to also have a written review about it. And I think it is a book that I think it's the best book I've read in the lockdown, a poetic book at a soul level. So thank you for writing this one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So before we
It
get
just
started,
makes
all
me,
dear
yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah, it
No,
just
no, it just makes me
no.
feel very,
You say.
no. It's just that I think whatever you said, I think it just, as a writer, I think that's the best gift that you can get from a reader, or, that the book resonates with them, it resonated with them and touched a part of them. I think it's a blessed gift to get as a writer. And I'm really grateful.
No, it is something that, be it the way you've written the book. And, anyways, we're going to chit chat about this book only because our chit chat is about Notes to the Beloved and the lessons in self love, intimacy, and attachment. But before that, would you like to address your viewers here who've been sending you hi, hello, and waves and hearts?
Oh, hi everyone. So to be very honest, this is my first live ever, so I don't know how this works,
Oh,
but I'm
I'm
just
so
going to
happy
go.
that this
Yeah,
is
this
your
is the
first
first live
live.
ever. Yes, and it had to happen with you,
I'm
but
so
yeah,
happy that your
I
debut's on Chitter Chatter.
yes, and I'm so happy to be here and to be able to talk to people about my book. I think that is, I think it's in on another level. I feel like a child, like talking about my work. So yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
But I have to tell you, your smile is so childlike and so vibrant that it's automatically made our
Thank you.
evening more happy. And we are so looking forward for this chit chat.
I know. We have been. I have been. Really, really, really.
So tell us, how did this whole writing start? Because this is not your first book. So I want to go back in time.
No,
When did you decide that, oh, you want to express your thoughts in words and make it reach to people?
I think I've been writing from a very long time. I think I remember writing my first poem when I was in class seventh. And I still remember the title. It was The Orphan Child. I don't know what made me write it. I think writing has been, it's something that I think I'm good at expressing myself through words. And then I did my, honors in English literature. So the love deepened, Then I became a copywriter, worked with an ad agency, became a fiction writer, and here I am. So poet and a writer. I think it's just been inside me. It just keeps, I expressing myself. So this is my 7th book. So yeah,
Wow,
I never knew I would write so many
that's
books.
a lot of.
I will. Lot of books. Lot of books, yeah.
So this, while lockdown, this book is all about the feelings one goes through lockdown. And all of us, like if I can sum the book up in a little one line, it is that all of us were seeking for answers and we were confined in our lockdown where we automatically started looking out for them. And that is what your book is all about. So what was
Right.
your journey that you thought that you want to express it in the form of book?
I think, to be very honest, I was going through something in my life that I needed to sort of process and understand. And I think this is I think I have a healer archetype. So talk about archetypes sometime later. But the healer in me, I think, just got very activated. And, it's more a journey of self-preservation and self-restoration for me. And at a very deeper level, I think it's a journey of self-understanding. I mean, we cannot understand other people till the time we truly understand ourselves. We really can't understand anyone around us. So this was a journey of me trying to understand what's happening with me and trying to process it. And because of the pandemic, I think everything got very heightened, you know, and I had to. It was, when you write a book, it's a compulsion. It's not something that you want to write. There is no other way. You have to write it.
True.
So that was the whole thing. And because there were a lot of triggers in my life happening at that point of time, I just thought I will just write it. And that's how it happened.
So while there was a compulsion to write and there were a lot of trigger points, what was the primary inspiration to write this book?
Okay. The primary was that I think, most of us get captured in a wound and we don't know how to deanimate it. And because I have been captured in a wound for a long time, I thought this book is more like a prayer that, God, give me the wisdom so that I can lead others to, help them with their wounds or help them understand intimacy in a different, maybe have a new template to make them understand intimacy in a different way. As I am beginning to understand, or as I, found out while writing the book. So that was the whole premise. That was the whole, as you will say, intention with writing the book. To basically help out. See, human experience is universal. We all go through loss, heartbreak, betrayal, humiliation. But it is what you do with those things. The words are very powerful. How you talk to yourself is very important. So the book is about me talking to my inner self. It's very important because words can take you to hell or heaven. True. It's very important how you talk to yourself because that's the most important conversation you will have is with your own self. So through this book, probably, it was a very unconscious thing when I was writing the book. There was never anything in my mind. I just wanted to write it, to be very honest. At some level, writers are very selfish. We just write for ourselves, right? And then, the universe kicks in, the divine kicks in and makes the book into something else so that it connects with other people. So I guess it's all about how to heal yourself. I think self-healing is something people don't understand. You don't need to go to gurus and, other people. Yeah. You need to heal yourself and you have all the power within you. You just need to tap it. And that is probably what the book, that's the big thing that comes out of it, that, as long as you're honest and authentic with yourself, you can do anything. You are powerful beyond measure, but you don't realize it. We are afraid of our power, actually, as humans. We are really afraid.
I think that the biggest problem is we don't want to accept it. So there
Yes.
is no
Yes.
second thought of healing. The something that we
Yeah.
totally neglect.
Yes, we do. We
And
do.
there is a
We
question
do.
for are so many writers connected to the text that follows them?
Okay, I couldn't get it. Can you repeat it, please, Shweta?
So there is a viewer that is asking, are the quotes from so many writers connected to the text that follows them?
Yes, yes, definitely. I worked a lot on how put the right quote after the right, after the pages because they follow, because that in some way summarize the thought of those pages. So that is the reason I put them there.
Yeah.
It sort of strings it together, strings it together. You read the book, you know it. Yeah.
So I have to tell you that, since we are talking about intention and compulsion, when I was reading the book, I realized it's poetry in the form of prose. It's more like limericks, like I didn't know whether it was intentionally done by you because I was lost in the book completely. And I literally felt as if to be very frank, as if I was reading a Sufi book and it was in the form of limericks. So was that a thought that went in that, okay,
No,
I
I
want,
think
you know,
I think
limerick
it
form?
just no, I don't think I set out writing. I set out thinking I will write something like this. If you ever read my other six books, they are very different, Okay, apart from poetry, which is erotic poetry, to be very honest, it speaks like this. But the fiction titles are totally different. But when I started to write, I just wanted to pour my heart out on the pages and then see if it could be given the shape of a book, to be very honest, you know. And after I completed it,
I'm
I realized, you know
just
what,
got
people need to read this.
they
Yeah.
definitely need to. And I'm so happy reading it, and I'm so happy that at some level my soul called for it. And this book had to
Yes.
come to
Yeah.
me, and I was with a very heavy
Yes.
heart. And your Palia also says this book can be a game changer for the soul. I totally agree, Nikki,
Oh,
on this.
she is amazing. I mean, I have heard the most beautiful compliments from her after she read the book, and I'm so grateful. And Nikki is amazing. I mean, I've been a big fan of hers. So coming from her, it's a big thing for me, to be very honest. Yeah.
So, Meenu, when you had this book and you realized I want to take it out to people, how was it working with book bakers with Suhail on it?
Sohail was amazing. Sohail is a sweetheart. It was right from the day one. The fact that he believed in the book, I was very skeptical, to be honest, when I sent the book to him. I said, maybe he doesn't like it, or maybe, it's less than 20,000 words. It doesn't fall into the category of a novel. And then it falls into the category of a novella. It is not written like a novella, it's written more like a poetry. And I mean, I don't know whether it'll make sense to Sohail, but Sohail, right from day one, was very supportive, very encouraging, very inspiring. And it has been a joyride working with him and book bakers. Seriously. I'll recommend him to everyone.
Talk about book. I
Yeah.
totally agree on that. Book bakers definitely recommend to everyone. And we have another author Ganesh Lath, whose book also has been released, and
Yes.
book bakers helped him. And he's also saying that he's looking forward to read your book. And yes,
Oh, thank you
you
so
should.
much. Thank you so much.
So,
Yes.
when the book
Thank you
got
so much.
published, and I'm sure and it's been appreciated, what are the best compliments that you received from people?
I think I've heard this from a lot of a few people who've read the book. I mean, not that many people have read the book. I mean, it's still in the process. People are still getting their copies. I think the biggest compliment as a writer is when people people have said that reading the book was a meditative experience for them. I guess that I think
I agree on that.
I think that for me, that's a huge, huge thing because, the book has to flow in a certain way for it to be meditative, right? And the fact that I think it all, because it came from my soul, I guess, because it is an authentic book, because I think that is the reason that it can connect to people. I think that I feel is the
Part in your book that says that, a cord is being disconnected and a lot of connection again happens. So, you keep connecting and healing the cords because they keep
Yes.
coming back, which is something
Yeah.
that, people tend to think. And this is I would like to ask, not only where I'm not addressing you only as a author, but also as a light worker. Many people think that, we've healed that incident, but there are a lot of fragments that are connected to a particular incident. And when I was reading a book, that line that says that, the cord keeps coming back. I keep cutting it and it keeps coming back.
That's,
So,
yes, yes.
that's, can
The thing
enlighten
with
us
etheric
a little
cords,
on that?
yeah. See, the etheric cords are the cords that connect us to another soul, okay? They are invisible cords, but they are, it's like, imagine yourself with the other person and a ray of, like a tube of lights. Lot of small cords which are connected together. Now, the thing with cords is you can cut, energy can never be destroyed. It can only be alchemized. So we may cut the cord with the person at that point of time, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the connection or the end of the relationship. No. I mean, I could cut cord with my own daughter if she is harassing me or, she's being a little over the top and I don't know how to deal with it. I can cut cords with her and she can likewise. But the connection remains. But the idea is to transmute the energy. So in some way, when we cut the cords, we somehow distance ourselves from that situation. But yeah, it doesn't mean it won't come back. It comes back and then you have to deal with it. But just it gives you more time and some processing tools, These are just processing tools to help you out with it. Yeah.
So there is a viewer who's asking, what is the relevance of the different chapters in the book?
Oh, that's interesting because the chapters that I, divided them according to was the birth of a star or the birth of a sun. How when a new star is being born in the constellation, how there is so much pressure. How the energy works, and there are so many, there is so much heat and pressure. And when that all the elements, how they work, I'm not getting into the details because I read about it, I don't remember it now, but it is how the pressure creates this new star. So relevance is that the best in us only comes out when we go through the worst, to explain in a nutshell.
True.
And that's how the book is about.
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, nobody grows by happiness, right? We all grow by suffering, right? I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, we would not understand life if we were happy all the time.
So there is a viewer who's very interesting that the connection remains even without intent.
The connection remains?
Okay. There is a viewer without the intent. So, you just mentioned that, the energy remains no matter what, whether you cut the cord or you don't. You need to alchemize that energy. But the energy
you need to alchemize.
So
it remains. It
what
cannot be destroyed. Yeah, it cannot be destroyed. It can't be. It has to alchemize. That's the whole thing. You convert I could keep on and on. This is my subject. I could talk endlessly to you.
Go on. We are all yours. We are all yours. Today is all about you. So we could convert and please go on with it.
No, I just meant that we convert the darkness into the light. That is what I meant. Alchemize it. That is what, yeah.
The cover of the book is very beautiful. What was your inspiration for that illustration?
Okay, this is this girl who is almost like my daughter, Bahar. She's the one who designed it, and I just gave her, the yin and yang is basically what I wanted to show in the book is about duality and paradox. There is a lot of paradox in the book, if you see. There is a man and a woman and a woman and a man. Okay, we need to balance the masculine and the feminine side of us. actually true marriage is marrying the feminine in you with the masculine. That is what true marriage is. And that is what is one of the main things in an intimate relationship. You need to marry them both. And that is when true union happens. So I wanted to depict that yin and yang, And of course, Bahar did a great job with it. And yeah, it came out the way I really had seen it. So she could articulate my idea into a beautiful, illustration. Yeah.
When you received your first copy of the book, finally it's out there, and now it's going to go out like to everyone to read, and you knew that, being a light worker, you knew that this is going to reach out to people who need it, or at some level are seeking for some answers, and this might answer something, this might make them think about something. So what was it when you hold your first copy? When you held your first copy, what was the feeling like?
I was all over the place. I was so happy. I don't think it seemed as if I was holding my first book. It didn't seem like it was the seventh book. And because this book came after a gap of 8 years, I think I was super excited. And, it's like putting your child out there in front of the world when the world will start, iska naak theek nahi hai, iske baal nahi hai, iski lips theek nahi hai. So you put yourself out there, you make yourself vulnerable, you expose your heart and soul to the world, and you don't know how the world is going to receive it. But I think that is the first thing that as a creative person, it. I mean, that is one thing. It's a risk. Everything is a risk in life, right? So you put it out there and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know whether people are going to like it or they're not going to like it. But I was all over. When I did the unboxing video, I was like, Sohail,
so cute and energetic.
Yeah, I was really happy, actually. I felt like a child again, like it didn't seem, it was my seventh book, log thoda sa sober ho jate hain, thoda sa wo ho jate hain. I think it's the child in me which just comes out, at these points of time.
Because that's the child who had so much to talk about that, trust me, it didn't feel like, usually when you're reading these self-help books or even books which are like very Sufi, they're so heavy for you because sometimes you can't
you can't.
Earth plane, it's like where you feel like, okay, it seems nice, but it's like a parallel universe. The best part of the book was it was on the earth plane. It wasn't where I had to be like, okay, let me transfer to a parallel universe and see what
I know. I think that's a very good point you made, because I think the more profound a thing is, you have to present it very simply, because the profundity of it should not get overshadowed by the complexity of the words. It's very important to, present it in as, like, somebody said, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself.
True.
So you should be able to, yeah.
How was it working with Loxie Hall Publishing?
Loxie was, I wanted the book to be published in a certain way, and they were very, very accommodative and generous, and they, published the book. We had to increase the font size a bit because the number of pages, it was not a very big book, right? And I've received a lot of compliments for the font size. One of my aunts, who is about 77, she picked up a book after many years, and she had to read the book because I had written it. She loves me too much. And she said it was such a joy, to see a bigger font size, that I was able to read it and there was no stress on the eyes. So I think the way the book was designed, I love it. I just love it, And it was a very easy experience with them. It was really nice working with them. Yeah.
Like when we are talking about the book, or you spoke about the font size, I have to say it was just so easy. And though I have finished reading the book, and again, I'm saying that I'm going to put it soon. But, it's been like 2-3 days I finished the book. And what I do is I keep going and I just opening. And I'm like, okay, what does this quote have to say for me? And that is something I've been doing like so often, because I love the quotes that you put, which makes you want to come back to the book, And I
have had people tell me that they want to go back to the book again because they couldn't soak it for the complete book for the first time. They want to read it again in order to understand it better. I think also that is also a very, I'm grateful for that compliment as well. I take it as a compliment because, they want to read it again in order to understand what was it.
Nikki says she finished it in 3.5 hours, and the book shows you how a love affair is with yourself. I totally agree. Like any self-talk, self-chitter chatter, also besides the chitter chatter, and that's what I realized that he's saying that it's important to talk to yourself, to love
Very
yourself.
important. Very important. I think we really can't. I think self-love is the highest form of love. And you really can't really even begin to see unless you know your darkness and you know your shadows and the nooks and crannies of your soul. How can you understand someone else? I mean, even if it is your own kids, you can't. You have to take the journey within in order to connect.
There's this question a lot of people ask me, and I think you will be the perfect one to answer that. So it may be a little off track the book, but it's still connected to the book. A lot of people mistake as being selfish, which is not true. So if you could please tell our viewers about that.
There is a very thin line difference, Shweta, between being selfish and self-preservation. Okay. So wherever your energy, starts to dissipate, when suppose you are being selfless, okay, you're helping out people, but in the process, your energy is getting sort of diminished. That is a sign for you that you have sort of not put your boundaries. Your boundaries are very weak. They're not strong. Because unless वो बोलते ना प्लेन में अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी पहले बांधिए फिर दूसरे की मदद कीजिए. It's that.
जी.
So this is what it is. Unless you know where, you can go all about expending your energy and helping out people without helping yourself. You have to take care of your emotional body, your physical body, your spiritual body. It's very important. But where you draw the line is up to you. Some people may have more capacity to be selfless, some may not have. But it is very important to honor it. I mean, there are certain things I can't do. I'm limited. We have to understand we are also limited as humans, right? Unless we feed ourselves, how can we sort of, help others out? Very important. I know a lot of people get a little, I get that question a lot as well, isn't it being selfish? There is nothing wrong in being selfish. It's how you look at it. It's preserving yourself. It's self-preservation. Yeah.
So here's some Vinmay is saying quite interesting and engaging conversation. Groove Queen Amy saying, Meenu, my first interaction with you thanks to Shweta's live, but I'm eager to read your book now. Yes, people go out there on Amazon and book so that you'll read, and you can always ask her questions and take your consultations and do whatever, because I'm sure after this book you have a lot of questions, but accept all your questions. Given love is just a touch away on an app, do you think that our understanding of intimacy has changed in today's world? Okay, so there is a question here which says, given love is just a touch away on an app today, do you think our understanding of intimacy has changed in today's world?
Definitely. I think, when we talk of our grandparents and our parents, there was concept of space, right? Did you hear our parents say, "Hame space nahi mil raha hai in a relationship. We need space in a relationship." So obviously, as a collective, we have grown more psychic. Okay, our senses are very heightened. But I think it is also very important that, people break up on WhatsApp over a chat and all. I think it's very important to confront, because you have to live in the real world. The virtual world is not the world. Okay. It's very important to date the traditional way, meet people the way, because I don't think I can be comfortable with someone whom I have not met, chatting with them and talking to them unless I've met them. I think you need to assess the energies, you need to understand how you feel, how your body feels, how your heart feels. Very important. I think obviously the template has changed. We need to become more in tune with our inner self. There are four persons in a relationship now. So the two people, it'll be the person, their inner self, the other person, and their inner self. That is how complex it has become.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we need to understand, unless you understand your inner self, you will not be able to connect with the other person. It's very important to know what is it you really want. You may not want to disclose it or, share it with the other person. It's fine. But you have to be aware of what it is that makes you you. And for that, it is very important to...
Are you there?
Got hung. The Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you're buffering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you. Uh, Hey guys, thank you for joining the live. And there's some Wi-Fi issue, so we'll just wait for her to come back. And hopefully she'll join back again. Groove Queen Amy, it's good now. Connectivity issue, yes. Author Ganesh. Hopefully, this is the time where internet gets a little haywire. Kobe Jen, in case Meenu comes back, I will definitely ask your question. Mohit Beniwal, good evening to you too. Thakral Aditya, thank you for the lovely compliment. Deepak Balani, hi, how are you? Vivek Kapoor, hi. Yes, she's written 6 books. This is her 7th book, though there's been a long gap between those books and this book. And guys, y'all should go and definitely order Notes to Beloved. Y'all are gonna love the book, and trust me, y'all will not be able to put it down. It is something that is very poetic, very prose, and it's gonna make you love yourself. So, like the title says, lessons in self-love, intimacy, and detachment. That is exactly what this is, and that is exactly what we've been asking ourselves in lockdown. So you're gonna really enjoy this. And let's see if she can join us. I'll again send her a request, and hopefully she'll be able to join us. So I'm sending her another request. Let's just wait and see what the internet has this time, because our internet decides whether the chat continues. And you're back.
I'm here. Yeah. Okay.
So there was a question
Okay.
for you that, as your Insta bio says that you're not a consultant. Can you throw some light on that? What does an archetypal consultant do?
Okay, so archetypes is basically your subconscious patterns that rule your intimacy, safety, security, your self-esteem, connection. So I, as an archetypal consultant, identify these archetypal patterns in you, and I then cast them in the astrological house, each astrological house. So archetypes are power patterns. It is the foundation for your behavior, for your belief, your fears, your how you move about in life, how you move about in your relationships. So because the subconscious is more powerful and dominant than the conscious part of us. So this helps us deal with that. The archetypal patterns are something, they are so powerful, Shweta, that they will engage with your life energetically, even through illness and disease.
Wow.
So
Like
I
that.
help, yeah, they're that powerful. It's the eighth chakra. It's above the crown chakra. It's the eighth chakra. So I help people find their archetypes. We have 12. All of us have a set of 12 each. And then I cast them in their natal chart. in each astrological house. It's very fascinating, this study. So that is what I do as an archetypal consultant. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have another chitter chatter on that, because that will
Yes.
also something which is totally new, and a
Very new.
lot of questions regarding that. So I promise my viewers will have a soon another chat where we talk only about the holistics and the healing part as a light worker. But right now, let's just keep this chit chat to the book, so that you'll enjoy the book. And okay, so there is a question by Meenu Mehrotra. Against the backdrop of the pandemic, how does one deal with missing intimacy as expressed in the book?
I think what I have understood of intimacy is, Shweta, that you can be as intimate with your beloved as you are with your own self. So I think this is a very good time. The pandemic is a very good time to get more intimate with yourself. Take yourself out for, I mean, of course, you can't step out of the house, but, spend more time with yourself, understand yourself, do the things that you love. And you don't need another person for it. It's your own sacred space. So I think the more you get intimate with yourself, the more it's corresponding. The more intimate you are with yourself, the more intimate you will be with your beloved. So I think this is a very good time to get more, know yourself better, understand yourself better, so that when the pandemic ends, you can transfer that energy and, relate to your beloved with that energy. It's very important to, because if there was no pandemic, you would not be spending time with yourself alone, right? At the drop of a hat, we'll be rushing to meet our friends. This is a time, so use it, make the best of it, to know yourself better.
4 people. So first, the 2 of you connect, so that you can spend time with the other 2.
Yes, absolutely. You said it well. Yes.
So Meenu, thank you for your time for this chitter chatter, and we're looking forward for many more chit chats with you. And
definitely.
Guys, please do buy your Meenu, and we all are looking forward for your reviews. And let us know how you like the book.
Thank you so much.
Happy weekend, Meenu. Thank you once.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it. You take care.